Hey kids, it's me, Johnny Fox, back with another Fox Tales. And have I got some tales for you? Well, actually, I haven't. But this guy might have. That's why I do what I do. So,
Hello
how
there.
about you introduce yourselves to the kids at home? Tell them a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Well, recently I go by the moniker the Moonlight Bard. Um, I suppose my real name is Jeremy, but I don't use it as much as I do the nicknames. Um, I've always been kind of into writing, but it wasn't until the past few years that I was able to really hone it. I remember when I was like 14 or 15, I tried to write some story about Ronald McDonald fighting Engelbert Humperdinck, and I was just like, what? I didn't even know what I was talking about. Um, right now, I've been doing a lot of poetry because I'm part of the Poetry Prompt Challenge, but I'm also working on about 7 novels at once, and I keep just jumping around because I have no focus. So instead of trying to find an organizational straight path, I just go with whatever goes on in my head, and I don't even plan usually. I just write what comes out of my head, and sometimes I'm like, wow, I didn't know this story was going to end like that. So really, I'm a purveyor of chaos, honestly.
Nice. Um, I'm sorry, I'm just completely gone already. A purveyor of chaos. That's fantastic. What a great way to start. And who doesn't want that? That's the best dating profile ever.
Look,
You
I
know?
want to be surprised. Even when I read stuff, I don't want to be able to tell what's going to happen. It's the same thing when I write it. I don't want to know how the characters are going to end up. I want to be
I
surprised.
mean,
So yeah,
so so does writing come from so were you a big reader? I think I
honestly,
could do that. Or
honestly, throughout my teenage years, no, I had an undiagnosed reading disability that didn't catch up to me, and it may have just been ADHD, but it wasn't until I started reading Star Wars books because I was so deep in Star Wars lore. And it's true what they say, nobody can hate Star Wars like a Star Wars fan. But I
yeah,
was so deep in it that I got one of the books, and the first books I read were written by Timothy Zahn.
yep,
And for some reason, when he writes, he's able to put so much into it that connects to the movies that I was able to picture it in my head.
yeah.
And so there's been a lot of times, like one of my favorite books, The Count of Monte Cristo. Um, I couldn't read the book until I watched the movie, which of course are two totally different things. So I come from a family of like artists. Like they draw and they paint and they do stuff. Like all of my kids do it. My ex-wife does it. My parents did it. And I'm just like, well, I write stuff. I'm like the only one in my family that just sits down and just, I mean, my daughter does some fanfic stuff, but she's a little weird. But no, yeah, I just, for some reason, one day I was like, I think I can do this. And just started stringing words together. And I was like, oh man, I love to create feelings from them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes. Do you have anyone, a close confidant that does you give to little test readings, little snippets of, or anything like that too?
Of my own stuff or just
Yeah,
in
yeah,
general?
your own.
I actually have tried, and I do I just call it market research because that's essentially what it is. And
Yeah,
I get people from different areas to read some of it so I can get feedback because some things that are entertaining to me might not be as entertaining to the general population. Um, but I have, like, I'll let, sometimes my daughter read one of the ones I'm working on today. I'll let random friends read stuff when they will. But people have busy lives. So yeah, I do go for feedback because I mean, sometimes I'll do stuff. I'll be like, I can't believe I wrote that, and then sometimes I'm just like, tell me what you think. Cause I am a little bit in my own
yeah,
lane.
yeah. I mean, feedback is great, but ultimately, it is yours.
Yeah.
And if you like it, then damn well do it. And and there'll be like-minded kindred spirits out there somewhere if you can just get it out there.
Yeah.
No doubt, there always is. You can find your audience. It can be sometimes your audience can be really hard to find, but it can be found.
Well, and if they look deep enough, like most of the stuff I write, I put my actual life into a lot of it. Like there's some situations, like I think I wrote a story one time, and some of this I've posted. I also post on this app called Ritco, which is like an Indian writing app where I post everything so I can share it from there, because Facebook, when I share the longer stuff, will make me break it up into sections, and it's a bit of a hassle. So I wrote a story once that was about this guy that was like an adult male who lived with his mom, and he was sick, and she had to go to play bingo. So she called a girl about her son's age to come babysit him. And throughout the course of it, he keeps waking up and finding her doing weird things. Like at one point, she's vacuuming the dog. And that actually came from really when my ex-wife still lived with me. One day I woke up and she was vacuuming the dog. And I was like, what the I said, that's going to be a story. And the whole thing is based on that. Like I wrote all the way around it. And sometimes given a tidbit and I'll run with it.
Yeah.
But
there's nothing crazier than real life. People, there are people. I meet people here all the time, every week, with fantastic creativity, fantastic imaginations, but there's always that kind of that real life experience, like at the root of it all. Even like with comedy, comedian, like there's nothing funnier than real life. To just often, you know, the best gags are just I'm just regaling you with it. This just happened to me at the store like an hour ago. It's not a joke. I wish it was, maybe, you know. So
I did one like that when I was shopping in a grocery store, and I can't remember what the story was now, but I wrote down my experience because I had some kind of interaction with the cashier that I don't remember, and I just remember writing it down, and it was legitimately something that happened to me. But when you read it, you're just like, no, that can't be real. I'm like, oh yeah, well that's real shit.
Yeah. So do you flip through different genres in your writing as well, or?
Oh, actually, yeah, that's exactly why I decided to go by the name of a bard, because what does a bard do? They tell tales, they can sing, they can do poetry, they can do whatever they want. They don't have to be limited to a genre. So that's the whole reason why. And plus, I mean, I had an affinity with the moon, so that was a no-brainer. But the idea that like I don't want to be limited to what I can do, because the books that I've got going, one's like a conspiracy sci-fi type thing, one's like a smut novel. I was like, I'm gonna write something that's spicy and confuse people where they won't know whether I'm a man or a woman.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna write it with sensitivity. They're like, no man wrote this, and I'm like, girl, but I've got like the one that I'm primarily focused is like an epic fantasy, and there are so many of those out there. I mean, you've got like you got the Lord of the Rings, you've got the Ring of the Power, you've got the Wheel of Time, which is one of my favorite. Well, the books, the series is okay, but the
I recently, only very recently, discovered through a guest that I had on actually the genre of dark romantasy.
Let's see
indeed.
that.
Yeah, and there's like it's one thing like I could have lived my whole life oblivious to this shit, but then somebody brings it up, and it's not even. I was going to say do a deep dive, but it's like a 30-second Google. Other search engines are available, but but a quick search, a quick online search, and there's plenty of this shit around. And it's essentially, it's like your classic romance novel, but it's all like fairies falling in love with demons. Like, it's the classic, the bad boy. All the women love a bad boy.
I'm writing one like
to
that.
The extreme of like, Tinkerbell and Satan hooking up, And it's like,
that's
pretty cool.
There's an image. No, I guess I am writing one of those because I've got one that is. It's like a post-apocalyptic thing. Like apparently, it does like they find that one day that weed has like a chemical in it that causes people to basically become lepers and die if they don't get a fix. And so many people started smoking that there's nothing left in the world and it's really hard to get. And so these people are just dying, and the only thing that can cure them is werewolf's blood. And this group of werewolves find these junkies. And one of the I shouldn't say junkies, I should say addicts. One of the addicts in the park saves one of their lives, and he ends up biting him to save his, because he could tell he wasn't going to make it much longer. Although essentially turns him into a werewolf and invites him into the pack, which of course is not popular as these things go. Anytime you invite a rando into a pack, that's just going to happen. There's no way to go deviate from that. But they are eventually going to be a power couple. I just didn't get past that part and where I was going to go, because I don't want. That's why I'm stumped now, because my main fantasy book that I'm writing I don't want to fall into the patterns of everything else. Like, and I mean, if you write a fantasy, you're going to want, like, I'm not going Game of Thrones with it. Like, I don't want people to put down the books and be like, that was fucking awful. I'm not reading this ever again. And I think, considering I named the book Flame in the Darkness, and the prospect of a flame in the darkness is that there's always a light of hope. So I want there to be that semblance of hope, but I don't want everything to be honky-dory. Yeah. So I'm still trying to figure out my balance. So I keep changing it. And right now I've got all this stuff written, and it's not all connected together. But I was waiting. My first book is ready, but it's like a poetry thing, but I'm just waiting to get the money to pay for the copyright. But that one is one that I've been working on for years, and every time I get somewhere, I think, no, I'm going to change this. No, this will be better this way. So,
yeah, we say this a lot here on Foxtails, but that is, people, if you're not one of the many creatives that are out there, I think what's hard for people to get is one of the hardest things for creative people to do is to stop. To know when it's finished, to call it a day, to walk away, to leave it, to go, that'll do, to go, the tweaks that I keep wanting to make to it, I could put it to something new, and I could let that one go. And that could go out there and live its own life in the wild and, see what happens.
And it's kind of a curse, because, well, I think I finally sat down last night and I did an outline of just so I would have like that bubble of where I need to go with it.
Yeah.
So that way I don't add anything else. But I started asking myself questions like, why are they doing that? Like, why is the character doing that? I mean, if I was reading this book, I would want to know what in the hell's going on. So that's really where I'm at. Like, I want to make sure I touch on it, which I don't want it to be like a standalone one-off book. I want it to go into more of at least 3 books. So I'm hoping to leave enough of unanswered questions while at the same time answering some basic ones, so people will be like, I want to know what's going to happen now. Because I want to know.
But have you have already been published?
Yes. Oh, yes. Which actually the 5th compendium is coming out, and it's the Endeavor compendium, which is flashing my phone. This is volume 2, because I've given all the rest of them away. These are a bunch of us got together and we did the 365-day poetry prompt challenge. And so from that, I believe there's supposed to be 6 volumes from year 1, and we've got 5 of them already. 4 are already available, I believe, even on Amazon, and the last one is supposed to be ready any day now on the main site, unless it is already and I just didn't update myself. But then we've got the 6th one, and we've already started the next year challenge. So that's why my page sees a lot of poetry posted, because I have written so much, and that's even worse, because as a writer in the past year, from all the people I've interacted with and everything I've learned, it's like I've grown so much that I want to add more. Like I used to suck at setting. Like I could draw like, character got big sword killed bad guy, yay! And now it's like we want to know what that sword looks like. Who's this
Yeah.
character? What do they look like? Do they have family? Do they? I'm no Robert Jordan. I'm not going to write like the drop of dew fell off the blade of grass and landed on the ant's back while he was crawling to his hole with food for the queen. I mean, I'm not that good,
Yeah.
but
You know,
I think
my go-to on that kind of thing is with James Herbert and Stephen King.
yeah,
Both incredibly successful, both mine in a similar vein. But I've always said, and it means no disrespect to either one. Certainly, how could you disrespect Stephen King for Christ's sake? But like James Herbert can spend 3 pages like describing someone opening a door, you know.
yeah.
And in those 3 pages in like the Stephen King book, you know, you've gone through the door, you're in another world, you've been eaten alive by something and then shut out the other side, you know. And
Which,
each to their own, you know.
that was me with
They have their own fans. I like both.
the Wheel of Time. That was me when I started reading it. Like when I read volume 1, I was like, oh my God, it takes 150 pages to do anything. It's all just describing the book. But as I went on, like the story came together so good. So I believe it was after volume 11 or came out, I believe Robert Jordan passed away. And they had to get another author to come in and finish, which I got Brandon Sanderson, who's a pretty great author in his own right. But to me, like, I noticed the difference. Like it's like it wasn't just him building up setting for the first book. This setting was the whole damn series. So it's like when it switched authors, I could tell the difference in the feel from it. And I was like, wow, you know what? I took for granted how good the man was.
Yeah.
Like I was complaining about him writing so much detail. And then I was just like, damn, he was so good at it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's like, yeah, I'm complaining about the detail, and now I'm like, I missed the detail.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So, we've already thrown a few names around, but do you have any, favorite authors?
Oh,
I'm surely, yeah, way too ask me to pick my favorite children or something. But
yeah, I don't have a favorite.
Like one or two sort of stand out, or
Honest,
or who do you come back to like most often? You know, I mean, as much
I
for
do.
fun, if not for inspiration. You know.
Yeah, I do. I do keep a copy of Pride and Prejudice because honestly, when I want to get like some emotional stuff going and I can't access my own, I grab Jane Austen. And really, it's one of my favorite books. Like it's one of the first ones that I read all the way through, and I was like, I love this. I actually just recently read, I think, the first Dune book. So I do like. I haven't read the rest of them yet, but I do like that. Oh, there's another guy. Damn.
But did the first one make you want to read the rest of them?
Yes, actually,
Yeah.
I didn't. I've gotten like I don't mind the details, and not only that, I learned so many new words. I'm like, I'm going to look that up and save that word because it's going to make me sound smart. I can't think right off the top of my head. There's a bunch, but like I said, Timothy's on with his Star Wars books because it was like the counteraction of my reading disability. Like it got to where I could get through books, and Star Wars books were really how I started to overcome my inability to stay focused to read. So then after them was when I was like, I'm gonna go back and read all these books I missed in high school. Yeah. So I had to go back and read, like, The Great Gatsby was the only one I got through. I didn't read any of, like, I finally reread To Kill a Mockingbird just because I didn't read it.
Yeah.
I read Wuthering Heights. I went through all these like classics that they told us we should read, and I don't think I ever redid The Red Badge of Courage, but I have an avid fear of Civil War ghosts, so I don't really want to read about dead Civil War people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Catcher in the Rye guy, which is incredibly obvious and kind of boring. But I do. I don't know what it was. I read it in high school. I read it. It wasn't like on the curriculum. It wasn't part of a lesson. It was just my English teacher thought I had a bit of an aptitude for this stuff, and he was the one who kind of gave me a list of these, the classics or whatever, that you should try this. I think you could make it through it, and you might even get something out of it that
Oh yeah,
some of the other kids maybe not so much, but I think you might.
those peasants won't
God
understand. But
bless him. I did the reading, and I said, "Yeah, I'm going to start a punk rock band." I don't know how that connects, but that's what happened.
that would be awesome. They're just like, I want you to come here and read this. Let those peasants go over there and sit at that table in a field.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. So, what I'm going to do now, we're going to play a little game. We're going to play a little game.
Oh boy!
There are no wrong answers. There are no prizes either, unfortunately.
Random answers.
Yeah, just a bit of this or that I like to do just to get to know people a little bit better in a fun, simple way. And I start with the forever incredibly boring. I've been doing these same fucking questions now for 50 episodes or something. I need to change them up a bit. But cats or dogs?
Whew. Honestly, probably. Dogs love me the most, but I like cats more because they don't need me as much.
that's exactly. I said there's no wrong answers, but that is exactly the right answer. That is dogs and cats in a nutshell all over.
Yeah.
I love you. Yeah. And the cat's like, yeah, whatever, man.
There's 3 dogs in this house, and I don't own one of them, but if I open my bedroom door, they all be up on me. They're just like, pet me and love me, and I'm like, no.
Beer or wine?
Hard liquor. God, if I had to choose, probably beer.
Yeah, wine.
I can do wine sometimes, but I think I could stomach beer better.
So pizza or kebab?
Oh, pizza, but only because I was raised a Ninja Turtle, so it has to be pizza.
Of course we were. Okay. Oh, okay. Country retreat or city living?
Oh, country retreat, easy. Like if I lived in the city, I would want to be in an apartment above everything, so I could just watch from above. But I think I'm a farmer by nature, so yeah, country.
All right. Skydiving or scuba diving?
Both. But skydiving. Yeah, I'll sky into the scuba. No, I think skydiving was more on my list right now. So there's no sharks in the sky, and if I hit the ground, I'm not going to have to feel it for long. So skydiving.
That's not a bad idea. Do you like a GoFundMe, Kickstarter sponsored skydive thing to raise money for copyrights and publishing and shit?
Yeah.
Okay. Big parties or small gatherings?
Small gatherings.
Quality over quantity. Yeah?
Well, when you get big parties, it always ends up all these people that don't really know you at all or give two shits anyway. And it's like I've been surrounded by that big gathering before. And since I've retreated and found my new Zen life, I'm just like, I just want to be around people that understand.
Yeah. Would you rather have money or free time?
Money or who?
Money or free time?
Oh, God. That's a hard one.
It's a bit of a loaded question, I must admit.
I mean, because with money, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Hopefully. I've never really had such a significant amount to prove that theory.
Yeah, I'm just theoretically speaking. I mean, I'd have to do an experiment to find out. So anybody that needs to send money, that's what I'm going to do, GoFundMe. I need you to fund me to see if my life would be better with all this money.
It's for science.
Science.
It's for science. We're doing it for science.
We're doing it for Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Okay. It's okay. Polka dots or stripes?
Stripes. I'd rather go to jail than be a clown.
What else we got? Oh, would you rather see a puppet show or a magic show?
Ooh,
Hmm.
damn, that is tough. I think honestly a puppet show,
Yeah.
and I just say that because it's. I think I was part of a puppet show once, and it's more reliant on the acting of the individual that's putting on the show, like some Avenue Q level stuff, rather than magic. It's like if I go, then everybody be like, "Oh, this is how they do that." I'm like, yeah, that's just gonna ruin my time. At least puppets, still they can get up and walk out and just leave me alone.
You don't get so few votes for puppet show, which is my vote, which is
Yeah,
which is my vote, which I think comes from I'm just of that age with like the Muppets, like on Sesame
oh yeah,
Street, the Muppet Show, excuse me, like Dark Crystal, Never Ending Story, Labyrinth, all of that kind of the animatronics slash puppetry kind of stuff. It's all CGI now, and it's fine. It can be great,
yeah, yeah.
but just I don't know. I don't know if it's just a nostalgia thing, but I'm like a puppet show. Where do I stand?
Yeah. I think honestly, yeah, I think people underestimate what goes into a puppet show.
Oh, in an ideal world, one day, if I can get Kermit on here with me, I
Mm.
will be. I can die happy. I can retire. It'd be great.
Oh,
Be
that
the
would be pretty
ultimate
awesome.
guest. We got a few more. Let's have a look. Okay, let's do the few potentially controversial ones. Would you
Oh
rather
god,
be a vampire or a werewolf?
shit, that is pretty controversial. Let's see. Damn, I almost feel like werewolf because I think they have more of a mortality, and I would not want to live forever. I
That's
mean, I
again,
enjoy life and all, but I mean, it's the thing that they talk about in almost anything you talk about eternity, like all your people die and go away, and you're just left without them. And
yeah,
I just watched Castlevania Nocturne, so that's where I'm
yeah.
at. I've had to
That's
live forever and bury my friends. Yeah,
yeah. No, that's snap exactly. I can't. And obviously, I mean, I have to say that there is nothing wrong with being a hairy mammal, right?
I mean, I'm already there.
Yeah. So, and if anybody's seen me gamer rage, then
Oh God, yeah.
then I'm at least 2/3 of the way there. Okay, so Star Trek or Star Wars? I think we might already know, but
Well, and this is I respect both as their
yeah,
intellectual properties. I have been more of a Star Wars fan than I was Star Trek, but as the years went on, I also loved when, like, my big thing is when they do, like, bring back old characters. Like, I love it. Like, in any scenario, any story. I mean, from Digimon to even Star Trek, like, whenever you have these characters come back and they run into their, like, the newer people, I love that shit. And
yeah,
Star Trek did that a lot more, and I enjoyed that. So, I mean, I will have to go on the side of Star Wars, especially with some of the things that they have. Like the animated stuff was pretty amazing.
yeah.
Um, yeah, we'll just go with that. But I do enjoy both.
Yeah, I mean, people put me up like they're two very different things. I'm like, yes, I know, it's just a bit of fun, but they're both just huge science fiction franchises with TV shows, movies, novels,
Yeah.
and everything. So you can see the similarities too, right? I know they're very different, but it's just a bit of fun, much like Dragon Ball or Pokemon.
Ooh, hot damn! I'd have to say Dragon Ball straight out the gate. Dragon Ball was my gateway drug. Um, I remember when I first started my dating my baby mama. She we had just started dating, and 2 months later, she goes, "I know what I want for Christmas. I want a Pokemon Pikachu." I said, "What in the fuck is a Pikachu?" And then, so she showed me some Pokemon, but then I caught Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah.
and it's like I watched the last 3 episodes they had out, and then it started over. I was like, wait a minute. I thought dude was on that other planet. How's he back here fighting this dude? But then once I got into it, I mean, I went nuts. I got tired of waiting for episodes, so I ordered bootleg fan subs. I went crazy with it, and I still, like, I've got a collection of Dragon Ball Z figures. I do enjoy Pokemon because it's got some of my favorites like Squirtle and Butterfree, but yeah, Dragon Ball Z was my jam.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. I think that'll do. I think that'll do. So, uh, somewhat back to writing, kind of.
Okay.
Not really at all. No, I lied.
Anything goes.
They kept writing adjacent. So obviously, great selling books inevitably at some point get made into TV shows or movies. And inevitably, this will divide the fans.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular? Is there a movie or TV show that's just wrong, so wrong? Stay away. Don't bother. Just read the books. You'd like to say to people, and also the other way, where you go, even if it's very different, but maybe it has its own thing, you also appreciate that the movie or TV show is also very, very good.
Well, I'll start. Yeah, I'll start with the one for me that I did, and I'd already talked about it, was when I watched the movie The Count of Monte Cristo, and it was the one with Jim Caviezel and Guy Pearce, and what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name right now? Oh, Henry Cavill, because it was young Henry Cavill.
Yeah,
and I watched that movie, but it gave me faces to picture when I read the book, and it's like, for me, I tell people, I'm like, look, just keep an open mind, and it depends on what story you want. Do you want a story that's like, hey, I came to get my revenge, I got everything I wanted back, and I lived happily ever after? Or do you want the story that's, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, I'm leaving with the girl half my age, I hope you all burn in hell? So if you're looking for more of a lovey story, you go for the movie. If you just want straight up, like, I don't give a fuck revenge, there's the book.
yeah.
I think, again, the Wheel of Time is the one that I got. Season 1, I almost decided I wasn't going to watch anymore because it was so. I didn't even care about, like a lot of people be like, well, that's not what race those characters are supposed to be. I'm like, who gives a shit? I'm like, what I want to see is my book on screen, and there were so many things that they changed, like adding one of the main characters having a wife. That wasn't a deal. It was just added so she could die. And I'm just like, she was a pointless character. And it's like they changed stuff just to build up a dramatic effect. And so I was just like, I don't know how I feel about that. Because after getting the story from the books, which is a lot more of your traditional type thing, but then when they did season 2, in season 2, I was building more and more toward getting excited. And then at the end of the season, one of the characters finally said a line I have wanted him to say the entire damn thing. And I was like, yes! I was like, I'll watch the rest of it now. So I feel like reading the books gives it a lot more weight. But if you watched it as a standalone series and didn't watch the books, you could probably enjoy it. But for me, that was a harder sell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything? Is there anything on your radar coming up that you're hoping they don't fuck up? Is there anything you know about that's?
Oh yeah. The How to Train Your Dragon live movie.
Oh
my god. It's the perfect. It is such an amazing series already, and now they're doing a live movie. And at first, I was like, "Who are these people?" And then I watched them do like the teaser trailer, and I was like, "Well, basically, Toothless is still the same dragon. Like nothing really changed. I mean, he's still CGI. So really, you just have to adjust to, people are complaining about who plays who and what's what, but Gerard Butler coming back as Stoic the Vast.
Yeah.
I'm like, Dude, come on. That in itself. So that's one I'm really pumped up for. I really
Yeah,
can't wait.
Butler's one. Butler's one of my like. If it's Butler, well, I'm watching it. Then I like. You don't need to tell me anything else. You go. Shh,
Yep.
but you're
Yeah.
like still reeling off the synopsis. I've already put it on, and I'm like,
Yeah,
no, it's on. That's all I
I
needed
don't
to
watch.
know.
That's why I kind of retreat from social media sometimes because that's like even like the Sonic 3 movie. I just took my kids to see it
Yeah,
and I was like, I don't want to know anything about it. I already know enough about it. And so I avoid like videos on YouTube, which luckily my algorithm is filled up with true crime anyway, so I don't have to worry a lot about it. Um,
yeah,
but like, it's like so many people just get on, they talk about it, and I know they're like, well, don't talk about it until you give it a couple weeks, but we all don't get to see it that fast.
yeah.
And there's been anime series that I've given up on because people will tell me stuff that I didn't want to know, and I was like, well, man, I'm not gonna watch that now. But like, I like to be surprised, and that's my big
Yeah.
thing. I want to not know what's gonna happen. So,
What's so? If we're talking about surprises, or like, even if it's maybe just the big twist at the end.
yeah.
Uh, you got a favorite movie twist?
Ooh, I gotta think of something I didn't see coming. Oh, I don't. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
I mean,
I,
there are those when like you can see it coming, but the thing is, but you want it to. So like instead of being disappointed, like, oh, they did that, I knew that. It's like, yeah, they did that.
well, the only one I can go back to right now is the same reason that I like that Count of Monte Cristo movie. You have seen it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the point where he puts the dude in the carriage with the gun, and they're like a courtesy for a gentleman, and then he takes the gun and it's unloaded. He goes, "You don't think I'd make it that easy, do you?" That was it. That was what sold me on the movie. I was like, "Holy shit!" I rewound it and watched it so many times. This is a courtesy for a gentleman. I'm like, aren't they in France? He's like, a courtesy for a gentleman. Ha ha,
Yeah. um. So what's we've done a bit of movies and TV. We've done some books. What's your jam? Do you have a playlist
Oh
while
god.
you're writing or just trying to chill or whatever? What's
Well,
what gets your feet tapping, your head nodding?
I think whenever I'm trying to do something where I want to be gung ho, I've got a lot of. I think it's technically classified as metal music, but it has, you know, lyrics you can understand. But a lot of them, like I listen to a lot of like basically build me up songs like Viking Warrior. I could take this on my own. I don't need anybody. So I listen to a lot of that, but I really listen to almost anything. Like I listen to 99% of the genres because um, I grew up in the band. Like I grew up playing music and performing. Um, and I love different types of music. Like if I want a real lyricist, I'll put on Eminem or NF because Eminem is a lyrical genius. Like I don't care what people think about his music, the man rhymes the most random shit, and I'm just like, God, it's that.
Yeah.
When I want to write like something like hardcore poetry, which I put one out that they were like, God, I thought that was an Eminem song. I was like, well, I was really listening to him before I wrote it. Um, Usually I'll turn on just some like rainstorm in a library type music if I'm going to write, and I'll light some
Yeah.
candles because some of my best writing was before I got my anxiety under control, was like a madman, was in the dark by candlelight, just like I'm going to, and like it's just like that's when I'm the most honest about the things coming out of my head because all my barriers are down, everything, like all the inner demons that I didn't want to show people, which I don't really hide anything anymore. Had to come to accept a lot of things, but the ability to put that on paper, like I think I do more candles than I do music for that. But yeah, some of the hardcore music, I don't remember any off the top of my head, but with video game soundtracks, oh my God, I'll play Star Fox 64 to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie soundtrack, and it lines up exactly perfect.
Yeah.
And then I found a place to line it up at the end of it, the end of the game, where you can play the ending ceremony from A New Hope. And if you line it up, and it plays perfectly with the end of Star Fox. Me and my friend used to do it all the
Oh,
time,
that's
and we would start it right at the same
genius.
spot. And it's like they'd be walking down the aisle. It's like dun 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 dun. Dun. It makes me so happy. I'm gonna do
That's,
that and record it.
that's fucking genius. I love that so much.
Oh,
Star Fox.
we
Now,
were bored.
now it's I've said this a few times. Video game movies. They're the next superhero movies.
Yeah,
That's the next vein that Hollywood's going to mine the shit out of. There's plenty already out there, most of which are shit, just like the superhero movies were. But if you're a superhero fan, you take what you can get. They didn't seem so bad at the time. It's
yeah.
only as they've improved that now looking back, it's like, okay, maybe maybe that wasn't so great. But at the time, because you take what you can get. You know, like we've had the Resident Evil movies that aren't really Resident Evil movies, and
Dragon
shit
Ball
like
Evolution.
Where we had the Assassin's
No.
Creed movie, we had the Prince of Persia movie. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they're out there, they're trying.
Yeah.
But yet somehow these Sonic movies are
Oh man,
currently
those.
the bar. Are currently where the bar is set. They're currently, surely, I don't get much argument blowback on this. I don't think.
No, you
The Sonic
shouldn't,
movies
because
are currently the best video game adaptations, even though they don't really adapt the video game. That's probably the genius in why they
it
work.
it really is, like, even from the first one, when their cell phone ringtone was the Green Hills song, and just the way that they implemented like the music and stuff, and even
Yeah.
and Jim Carrey, friggin', I can't even express what he did after. He's like, I'm going to retire, and he's like, well, I'll finish these movies. It's like,
Yeah.
holy crap! Like, it just like I was ready for them like my kids. That was almost at How to Train Your Dragon level with me. I was like, oh.
Yeah. It's a self-confessed, fully paid up Sega boy back in the day. This has been a fucking dream for me to see this
It
little blue
is
freak up on the big screen and done justice and done in a way that I totally accept. There's no fanboy like, he'd never do that.
Yep.
He never says none of that shit. I'm just like, it's
And
fine. It's all good.
not only that, Sonic's voice. I mean, Ben
Yeah.
Schwartz as a comedian, like I didn't know who the hell Ben Schwartz was before those movies, and then they're just like, well, we're gonna put Chris Pratt as Mario, and it's like, why? Like, I didn't hate the Mario movie, but I'm just like it's not Sonic.
Yeah. No, the Mario movie was missing something. It did very well.
Yeah,
Most people seem to really like it. Actually, I didn't. I enjoyed it enough, but I feel like I'm probably never going to watch it again.
yeah. I mean, I will, because I have an 11-year-old and he likes it, but other than that, yeah, like we'll watch Sonic all day.
Yeah. Oh, love me some Sonic. Sonic Spinball. I've just got to give some love to Sonic Spinball. If you want to get an emulator, you can go back and find it. It's probably one of those games that's worth like stupid money or something to find the original box game or something.
Yeah.
These days, but I mean, I like pinball. I like Sonic. They made Sonic Spinball. I was a happy little guy.
I've got so many game systems in my room too. I've got to replace my PS1. It met with an unfortunate accident, but like, I'm sitting on like an Xbox One, of course the 64. I've got a GameCube with the LCD screen so you can travel with it.
Oh man.
I've got PSP, Sega Genesis, regular Nintendo. I've got one of those emulator things that will play Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo games. Like, I'm still in it. Like, I've got a whole, there's games over there somewhere, like a whole box full of just different Game Boy Advance, like all my stuff.
I saw the N64. I saw the one of the Pokemon, so like the 3D Battle Arena
Oh yeah,
kind of a games.
Pokemon Stadium.
That's the one. That's
Yeah.
the one. Pokemon Stadium. I know. I used to play it with the nephew. Pokemon Stadium. It was boxed, but it was a bit of a raggedy ass box.
Mm-hmm.
But it was boxed, and it was going for like $350. And I was like,
Damn.
what? I mean, then you try and zoom out of your nostalgia and realize just how old the game actually is, because it feels like yesterday. Like, that's
You
not,
know,
it's not retro, is it? It's only the N64. That came out last week.
I think that the ones that I've got that are like, I doubt that I could find them today, or I have an original copy of Chrono Cross or Chrono Crusade,
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger. I'm sorry,
Chrono Trigger, yeah.
Chrono Trigger. And then I get them all confused. And then I have Final Fantasy VI when it was released as Final Fantasy III, and I've got the original Super Nintendo cartridges for those. Those are
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's a little pile of cash one day, maybe, if you ever felt so inclined or desperate to do so.
You know, I don't know if I can because the guy that I played the Star Fox with, he actually passed away about 2 years ago, and we would compete on Star Fox. Like my aunt is still traumatized from when we used to play against each other 25 years ago, and Slippy'd be like, "Fox, get this guy off me!" But we finally finished the game where we go back and forth, and he still has the high score, and I don't want to beat it. Like, I don't even want to beat it now. I'm like saving it for him. I'm like, that's my dude, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful, man. And stuff. If Hollywood, if you're listening, and I know you are, if you're gonna do the Star Fox movie, can we just take the Sonic team when they finish with Sonic 4? Because 4 is probably enough. Enjoyed them as much as I have. I think they've made it clear that a 4 is happening, and I think that's probably going to be enough. I think we get too much further than that, there's the incredibly high risk of the quality starting to dip. They're on a good run. They're on a good run, but you know, I think 4 ought to be enough. So if you could just take that team and move them over to the Star Fox movie, that would be my hot tip. If that's
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, I could do that. And it's like, just thinking about like, and I don't, the original Star Fox.
Because when they like announce the Star Fox movie, and there's that part of me that wants to go, fuck yeah, and that part of me wants to go, oh shit, you know?
Yeah.
If they follow up the like Star Fox movie, if they follow it up with like, you know, from the creators of Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and I'm like, that'll calm me a little bit. That'll give me something I can focus on and go, okay,
like,
that might work.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
It's so crazy, it just might work.
Damn.
Yeah. So I was a Sega boy. You what were you?
I was like, because back in the day, like, I didn't have a Sega until I got a job and bought one for myself. So I basically played whatever was in the house, and I think my first game system I ever got to play was the Atari 2600 because my uncle had one. Then we found out about Nintendo, and we started playing Mario, and oh my God, I was crazy with Mario. But you know, they came out with a movie. What was it called? It was about this kid that was a prodigy, and they made him play Mario 3 to win the contest. I can't remember what it's called, but it had the girl that was she was in the Goonies and in the movie Summer Rental with John Candy, the redheaded girl. I'm pretty sure she was in it. There was another guy, and it was about video games, and he was in a contest, Game Wizard or something. I'd have to look it up, but from that I was like, oh look, there's secret warps and stuff, and then we went down the Nintendo route. I didn't get an Xbox even until, because I already had my Sega and my Super Nintendo. I bought those, and then I ended up I was PlayStation during the Kingdom Hearts, and we used to play EverQuest Frontiers on the PS2, which I loved. But then when there was some game I wanted to play, but it was on the Xbox One because I pretty much stayed Nintendo and PlayStation, and then Xbox One was my 360 because I got Rock Band, and I was hardcore about that. So I got my Xbox 360, and then I got a Rock Band set up for either my birthday or Christmas, and we went nuts with it. I worked for this anime convention, and I was letting them use my Rock Band setup because I had like a 1,200 song library or something like that. Like I just kept getting songs, and so we would go. They'd put it there, and people were like, "I can't believe all these songs are together," and I'm like, "I invested a lot." But then when they moved it to Xbox and PS4, it kind of killed it a little bit. So I went the Xbox route because I think that was also because of Kingdom Hearts. Because I don't think it was coming out on the PlayStation 3 or 4. I believe, because when it first came out, I believe it was only available for Xbox One. So that's what I got.
Yeah.
So I haven't gone back into PlayStation yet. But if they come out with some of the titles I want, then like I go based on games.
Yeah.
Like I only bought, like I bought my Sega so I could play Sonic and Echo the Dolphin. There's an old one.
Echo the Dolphin. I've never beat that game. Never finished that game.
Me either.
I think it's one I haven't gone back to be honest. I play Streets of Rage over and over and over again. And a lot of the beat up, the Turtles games.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, the Turtles games.
Did you beat Turtles 1?
Not originally, not back in the day. No,
okay, yeah. Okay, well, me neither. I want to replay it too because it was, once I figured out that you could use Donatello and kill those machines with your bow staff, I was like, yep. All this time. But no, yeah, I never beat it.
Yeah, the Turtles get like what Golden Axe, you know, the usual suspects. But Earthworm Jim, you know, shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Ow! Yeah. But Echo the Dolphin, I do have it. I do.
Oh, nice.
I do have it across multiple platforms because I used to play the shit out of it, just never be able to get anywhere. But I used to put it on a lot and swim around and go, "What the hell are you supposed to do? I don't even really know." But it's kind of fun just swimming for a bit, and then I'll play Castle of Illusion instead.
I played one called Clash at Demon Head for the NES.
Yeah.
And I played the hell out of this game, and I started opening up all this stuff, but then the cartridge failed and deleted my game, and I was like, no! So I never really committed to it again, but it reminds me of, it's kind of like playing games like Mega Man or Kid Icarus and the older stuff. Like it was build your powers up, grow, get strong, become captain in the game master, you know, rule the world.
You see, the thing is, as well, going back, old games are fucking hard, man. Okay. Yeah. It's incredible thinking that, like, I've already been there, I've already done that. I'm playing games, like, going in with all the swagger of, like, I've already beat this game multiple times. Like, 20, 30 years ago, I was but a child. It will be no problem for a grown man. Oh, yeah, first boss, I'm done. Like, I'm out of here. I had a little nostalgia hit, and I'm done. I'm not getting any further. I can't remember what to do. I can't work out what to do. I refuse to Google it because I've already done this shit. It just seems like such a fake to Google how to do something I've already done as a child.
I'm thinking that's what I should do on my YouTube channel that I never use is do old games and play them. Yeah. And every game is going to end with like, I'm fucking done with this. This is why I'm on blood pressure medication.
Yeah. New games hold our hands so much. It's unreal, really, to be honest. Even the more challenging ones. You can go back to something that should be simple. You know, we only had 2 buttons. Maybe even one.
I know.
Maybe we only had 2 buttons and they both did the same thing. It was just jump, you know.
Yep. Mario, run and
And
jump,
that's
run and
all
jump.
you really had to do was get from left to right
Yep.
with a few jumps. It sounds so simple. Well, you try fucking Mega Man then.
Yeah, no shit. I don't even remember how I ever beat that. I think I had a Nintendo Power. I believe because I had a friend that he was really into Nintendo stuff and he had a subscription. So I think I just, I had to borrow his book or go to his
Yeah.
house and play it because, there wasn't looking that up on the internet. There's no internet to look it up
No,
on.
no.
I'm fucking, I was 27 before I had a cell phone.
Yeah, I mean, books, kids. They were like the internet with pages, but you had to like either go to the library or a friend, or you had to pay money and buy them from a store, bring them home,
Yeah.
and read through them, carry them. Imagine having to actually carry something that had physical
I know.
mass.
It's not on your phone.
Oh, but they were great. We loved them. Do you remember
Yeah.
the like the cheat cartridges, like the Game Genie?
My friend that I played games with, he had one and he was always going through and punching in codes to find new cheats.
Yeah,
And I was just like, I just want to play the game, bro. I don't need to be invincible. I have to be the guy and not want to die.
yeah,
So like we play StarCraft 64. Like that was hard. And we'd eventually get the codes where you could be invincible. And anytime we were getting wiped out, we'd be like, oh yeah. So then we'd turn it on and we'd start like building stuff up to destroy them.
yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, we're not going to lose.
Yeah, generally speaking, I'm against the whole cheating thing, but some games, damn it, they deserve it.
Look, we had one universal cheat code and we all knew it and it was for every game. And we didn't need all that other bullshit. Was it left, right, right, down, up, BA start?
There you go.
Real shit.
That's one. That'll sort the old ones from the young ones. Do you manage? Do you still, even if it's only occasionally, do you still try that on a new game?
I have not, but honestly, the last time I did, I got it mixed up because I get things jumbled a lot. So I was doing left, right instead of left, right, and it wouldn't work. And I was like, well, this code obviously doesn't work. But then, because of the fact that the internet, like you're talking about before it really became prevalent, I was already in my 20s. So I'm still like, I was looking shit up in encyclopedias. So I'm still like I honestly forget to Google stuff. And then finally it got where when I was working retail, people would ask me questions like, I don't know, Google it. And they're like, oh yeah, there's a phone in my pocket. I mean, you carry a computer with you now. But I'm kind of not in favor of that because I've noticed it's like, think about how we had to do phone numbers. Like we had to remember your damn phone number or write it down. It wasn't programmed into our phone. I still remember the numbers from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But
I remember my childhood family's home.
Yeah.
The landline. I remember that number. I do not know my actual number to tell a friend.
I know. But what's your number? Let me look it up real quick. I don't fucking know. I don't ever call me.
Yeah, to be fair, nobody ever calls me. Nobody ever calls me anymore. I don't really get texts. I get messages on whatever social media app. I don't actually get, phone related.
I do very, very rarely. Mostly bill collectors because of financially struggling a little bit at the moment. So the bill collectors will call me nonstop if I miss that credit card payment. They will call and call and call every day of the week, 7 days a week. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Sunday.
I get. Not too long ago, I was getting calls from my bank manager to tell me I've got too much money. It's me. I'm thinking like I have no money. I have some savings, right? Not a huge amount, but I'm lucky enough to have some.
Yeah.
Savings. I'm trying to build on it, but I'm more likely to have to dip into it.
Yep.
So I have a small amount, but yet this small amount, I would say it's harassment. I was getting called every other day, multiple times a day,
Jesus, better
to
enjoy.
get me to like take this money and put it into some bullshit pyramid scheme that they tried to
Oh,
convince me was a good idea, or to have it in like spread over if I have like just a few pounds in like multiple accounts, because if someone were to get your details, your information, your passwords or whatever, they'd have access to all your money instead of like just that one bit. And it's like, so you're telling me it's not safe with you, and I should go with another firm? Is that what you're telling me? I should take my money out and take my custom somewhere else? Oh
this
no,
is
no,
my
no, sir, no, sir, we're not saying that.
this is my savings account.
There it is.
It's a
Oh,
treasure chest full of God. Now it's in the floor.
pirate
But
booty.
yeah, it's like $500 in like dollar coins and half dollar. But honestly, like because of everything else I've spent through all my stuff, I'm invested in stock, stuff like that I've not taken out.
Yeah.
But other than that, like yeah, I went through all my like savings and stuff, and
I mean, life's too short for regrets and all that. But one
oh yeah,
thing that I do, maybe not regret, if I just phrase it as something I wish I'd have done, is a friend of mine was offered shares, in Netflix,
oh hell,
before, just like it was about 3 months before its North American release, and it was a bit later that we got it over here in the UK. But because he was quite a tech head, and he was just into all new sort of technology and electronic stuff that was happening. So I don't know how he was like pre-subscribed or whatever, and due to that, they were like offering him some really cheap shares in this fledgling company. Cross fingers, it might make something of itself one day. And it was like well within a budget that I could have just bought a few, not like might do me well.
Ooh, there we are.
Uh,
I don't. It's probably me. My phone's on a weird plan where it'll randomly cut my speed, and it didn't even dawn on me to use my laptop. So
the phone seems to work better. I don't know why. Every time somebody tries to be really smart and clever and use a laptop, I tend to have more issues with that. I don't know why.
Yeah, but on that Netflix thing, well, you know what the thing? Once they released it in North America, we're like, oh, you mean I could sit in my house and gain 20 stone while I eat McDonald's that's delivered to me and watch anything I want on the telly? Yeah, we're lazy.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have minded that money though. But you're right, and I did call it. It took quite a while to start to happen, but I did say the thing that kind of not put me off, but what I said was, these are the guinea pigs. This Netflix company, they'll just be the guinea pigs. Do people like streaming? Do people want streaming? Do people want to binge watch? Do people want all 20 episodes just released at once, not sort of the anticipation of what's going to happen next week? How are they going to get out of that? Kind of thing. Do they want that? And I said, if it's successful, then all these licenses that Netflix has, then all the other companies, Warner Brothers, Universal, that actually own that shit, will want to rip it off Netflix and start their own streaming service.
Absolutely.
I said that like right away when these shares were on offer. I was like, sounds pretty cool. I think it'll work. But if it works, then this company will soon be gone, and Warner Brothers will have their own, Universal will have their own, and Paramount will have their own, and MGM, although they've gone bye-bye, would have their own. And we're getting there. It's starting to happen, where it took a lot longer than I expected.
Look, I was probably 35 years old before I ever even thought about Netflix. Like, I was dating a girl one time, and she's like, "Too bad," because I didn't even have internet in my house. My phone was all I did. And I was dating this girl, and she says, "Too bad you don't have Netflix. We could go back to your place and Netflix and chill." And I was like, "No, but we could still Redbox and fuck." And she's just like, "You know what? That actually doesn't sound bad." So I was Redboxing, and then they killed it because everybody was watching Netflix, and I'm like, "Ugh." I needed the reason to get out of my chair and leave my room.
Yeah. But in all honesty, no, I've never had it. I've never even subscribed. I didn't get the shares, and I've never subscribed since.
I mean, I'm still not. My brother is.
Yeah, I love the internet, but I don't actually have any. I don't subscribe to anything other than just my internet provider is the only subscription that I actually have.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Xbox Live.
Yeah, I've definitely got that one.
But which means I'm currently just about to finish the new Indiana Jones.
Oh, I forgot about there being a new one.
Because
Lord,
it's right there in Game Pass. How can I not at least have a little dabble? And I've been loving it.
Yeah, if they get me with something that I want to watch, mostly now, I just buy it through YouTube and I keep a digital copy. But I mean, in my room, there are so many movies and DVDs, and just because I enjoyed having a library,
yeah,
but it just takes up so much damn space. But at the same time,
it does, but
what if Google goes out of business?
Yeah, no, exactly, no, it does, and all this digital shit. I mean, read the small print, kids. A lot of it, whatever you've paid for it, you don't own it. It's essentially just renting.
Yeah,
And the powers that be can take it back.
and they will.
They don't feel like it. It feels like, no, they probably won't. No, they probably won't. By the time they do, you might realize, well, I haven't watched it in the last 20 years. But of course, when they want to take it away, you'll want to watch it. Because that's just the way we are. I'd be like, no, you can't take my pointless thing that's been gathering dust for decades that I don't use.
That's my DVD collection.
Because I paid for it.
Yeah,
but
I've been debating that.
Yeah,
physical
media. There's a bit of a backlash physical media movement around. I think it's growing. And I think that's a good thing. I'm noticing more musical artists making sure that they do print reasonable amounts of CDs, even getting back to vinyl. There's a lot of vinyl knocking around now.
I'm all about some vinyl. I have got probably 200 vinyl records also, and my player over here. I don't turn my camera around because my room's actually kind of a disaster, and I don't want to show people what a slob I am. Which is not that it's ADHD clutter. So it's organized in my version of organization.
Yeah.
I hang up my shirts.
Who else needs to know? Only you need to know where the shit is.
Exactly. And then when somebody moves it, I can't find it. Like right now, I can tell you where almost everything is, but somebody comes in here, moves something around, I'll be like, "Why'd you do that? What you doing in my room? Get out."
Yeah. They're like, "Look at the state of the place. He'll never know." Oh, he'll know.
Look, I fold my laundry sometimes. I'm an adult.
Right. Listen, this has been fantastic. I'm going to let you go because I've got some chores to do. And
gotcha.
It's not getting too late over here, but I have to be up at 5 a.m. For work in the morning. So I've got a few chores to do. And
no, man.
Maybe a little bit of game time before I call it a night.
Good idea, too.
It's been fantastic to meet you in that virtual way that we meet people in this day and age.
Yep.
Also, if I can ask one last thing of you, because I always struggled to end the show. Because I will sit here, for hours and hours if someone will let me. And
me too.
So I always struggle to either end it because I just keep rambling, or maybe it'd just kind of peter out. You're both trying to think of something like, you hang up. No, you hang up. So in order to avoid any of that, I've come up with this fantastic way now ending every show, because I don't do it. You do. You do. Yeah, I've started asking the guests if you'd be so kind, if you just say, Till next time, keep it foxy.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you can do that however you want to do that. You've got carte blanche if you want to do it comedically, if you want to do it erotically, if you want to,
Erotically, it is.
if you have a celebrity impersonation you want to crack out or whatever. But the line is, till next time, keep it foxy.
I got this. Oh, yes. Till next time, keep it foxy.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed, kids. Tales from the Moonlight Bard. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him right here on Instagram. And just go check it out. It's fun. Thank you very much indeed.
All right.